Hello, 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 ladies. Thank you so much for joining me for day 5 of the dating challenge. Today, we're actually going to talk about dating smart. Up until today, I've been talking about leading up to these interactions, taking a look at your dating vision. What is it that you really want for yourself? Also looking at what's been stopping you from getting what you want up until now, right? And then helping you, my husband came on and we were talking about, the types of things men do and what you could be doing differently to you know, get the type of man that you're looking for. And then my next question to you was really, you know, what's stopping you? Why haven't you been able to find it until now? What is blocking you? And are you really open? Are you really truly open for love? Because you see, the thing is, a lot of times, like I said, sometimes we think we want something, and I believe honestly we do, but to be really willing to put in the work to have it, that's the tough part. And I'm even guilty of that. When years ago when I started, got prepared to practice law, I was always into it. So as I started to study, it was exciting. I went to school, I met other people, I went out and partied like it was nobody's business. I was coming in all hours of the night. My husband was not happy about that, but I was having a great time. But I was committed to the process. I was committed to wanting to go before the courts or tribunals to represent people who didn't have a voice of their own. So anyway, folks, again, my name is Joy Walters. I am your love and law advocate. So I practice law here in the province of Ontario, here in Canada, small claims court matters, landlord, tenant, human rights, hugely passionate. But the reason why I'm here today really is that I've been in the relationship arena since as far back as I can remember. From before I got a degree to practice law, I was helping women through their relationship issues. The people are coming to me for advice forever. And I really believe that it's been a gift. I've been able to predict every relationship that I predicted the outcome of, as has always turned out that way. It's, to me, the path is clear, but I understand that that's not true for everyone, right? So I'm really here to help women navigate the dating world for dating success. Too many times we make mistakes that get us to a place where we don't want to go. And so really, while I've made my own mistakes. And so part of my learning came from the mistakes I made, because I realized that in dating, a lot of times we were operating from a very blind place. We meet someone, you try to make it work, and that's really how you're doing it. But, over time, I got a little smarter. So I remember, back, what's about 2000, the end of 1999, I ended a relationship, a good man, my son's father, but he was just doing him. I was really irrelevant in that relationship. He went to work, he provided for us, which was awesome, but he was often getting ready and stepping over me and the kids. Sometimes, their toys would be on the floor, he's stepping over, he's getting dressed and he's going out. And I remember one night I said to him, you know what? This is the thing. I've said it many times before, but tonight if you leave, knowing that the kids and I are here and you're just going to go out and do your own thing, make sure you get your stuff ready, because I can't do this anymore. And well, he didn't take what I said seriously, which is fine. So we make our choices and we deal with the consequences. I've done some things in my life that I've had to deal with the consequences of as well. So he went through the door and that was fine. So anyway, I ended that relationship that night, and it was really sad, because I did care about him, but as time went on, I realized that he wasn't for me, that it wasn't meant to be for he and I. We were very, being different is not the issue, but he just wasn't meeting my needs on so many levels. And I guess I wasn't meeting his. If that was the case, then he would have been home with me and those kids. So I had to move on as a single mom, doing my thing, being at home with my kids all the time. So years and years went by and it was just me and them. I love those kids, and they can give me drama, trust me, but you don't love your kids any less. But coming home, day in, day out, day in, day out, me and them, me and them, me and them. I got lonely. I did get lonely 5 years when I think back to being by myself. And actually during that time, me and my ex at that point had talked about getting back together, but he was still with his girlfriend, so I don't know what he was thinking. Anyway, I remember one night, putting my kids to bed. being there by myself, and it still kind of gets me a little emotional, but putting them to bed and being there by myself. And um, I remember checking the windows and the doors and making sure everything was locked. And I put the chair behind the door because that was kind of like my extra protection, was just me and them. And so I remember I walked to the kitchen and I grabbed a bottle of Bailey's that I had there, and I grabbed a glass and I put some ice in there, and I went back to my bedroom. So I put the glass and on the nightstand, and then I poured myself a glass of Bailey's and left the Bailey's there. I had one drink. I love Bailey's, so I don't think it's a bad thing. But anyway, I had one drink. After that one, I had another. And I had another. And I began to realize, and that wasn't the first time I had done that I'm drinking, like I'm actually drinking because I'm lonely. Anyway, I became conscious in that moment, but I remember thinking, okay, I'm gonna go, you know what, I'm sitting here lonely, I'm gonna go on the computer. I'm single, I'm looking for someone to date. So I'm getting ready and I'm, now just picking up my glass and heading to my computer room. And as I'm heading there, I'm like, I can't believe that I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go online doing what I've always done that didn't work for me. But here I am taking the walk with my glass in hand to my computer room at the time. I press the button and I start up the computer, and my stomach is in knots because as much as I'm lonely, I don't want to do this again. I just don't want to do it again. Anyway, as I'm there and my stomach's feeling knotted, and it's like my stomach's turning and knots in my throat. I don't even know why, because I wasn't gonna actually talk to anyone, but I decided I can't. I can't do this again and get disappointed. So I shut down the computer. I take up my glass and I slowly walk back to my room. And I had a two-seater, a love seat. Interesting enough, I was single, but I had a love seat in my bedroom, and I opened the curtains, actually blinds I had then, these dusty rose and black blinds I had at my windows at the time. And I looked outside and I looked up at the stars and the night sky, and I'm just there by myself and I'm having my drink. And I look across and I see a couple walking hand in hand. And I'm thinking to myself, why can't I have that? I don't think I'm a bad person. Why? I'm a good mom. I'm here with my kids all the time. I had just taken some time off from work, but why can't I have it? So anyway, that night brought me to some realizations that I just didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want that to be my story. So I actually, at that point, decided that tomorrow had to be a new day. And with that, I got up the next day and I started doing things differently. I decided to have a different outlook on life. I decided that things really needed to be different. And so, I remember going out that day and just having a different day and just getting, just engaging more in life and all the rest of it. And like I said, and actually that was the day I made the list of who I wanted. I was really going out there with no direction before. So I made a list of what I wanted in a guy, and it was literally 7 weeks after that I met my husband. And that was 2005, so 13 years ago. And, here we are. And, and I believe that happened because I was a lot more intentional. It wasn't just taking whoever came along. It was deciding what I wanted and then going after it in that capacity, right? So what I really want to share with you today is that, as I didn't know it then, to be honest. I wasn't really totally aware of what I was doing then. But after this, I've really I studied a lot on relationships and dating and talked to a lot of guys and really got their positioning on it. And I realized a lot of the things I did was I was making the right moves. With my husband, I guess he was expecting to catch me, but he got caught, because one thing was that I began to realize is that, I thought he was Mr. Player, and my thing was, I'm not going to get played. Of course, we all protect our hearts. So my thing was, I'm not going to get played. But as I continued to date him, or, I was scared. But my friend said to me, listen, you're single, have a good time. And so I decided to start to take a different approach on how I was going to handle this dating scenario with him. But to be honest, in the moment, I didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. So I kind of was very light and easy about things. So this, this day, or, just really me talking more about, if you're going out there and you're looking for someone, if you're looking for someone to be more in tune with you or pay more attention to you, is to really, pay attention to these, dating tips. I consider them more of dating turn-ons, because it's about what a man expects to see in a lady. But ladies, keep in mind that it's a two-way street. These are qualities or things that while you're on the date that you want to see in him. And remember that we all want the best in a mate, right? And a lot of us settle for less than what we want. And I really don't believe that anybody should settle. I don't believe that you should have these extremely high expectations that nobody can reach. But of course, at the end of the day as well, you want to make sure that you have expectations. But this is just general dating. When you're going on a date, just simple things to pay attention to or to look for as you're going out. So when you're dating someone, one of the things that you want to pay attention to is, or that you want to do even for yourself before even paying attention to him, is you want to come across confident. And you should be, even if you don't feel great about yourself. You don't have to act like you got it all, you know it all and whatever, but you want to appear confident, right? You want to appear to be that woman who's grounded, is, she's taking care of herself, she's doing it for herself, but that come across confident, but not cocky. So not like, I don't need you, but confident in the sense of, I'm good, I'm okay, you're okay either way. If he walks out on that day and you never see him again, it's okay, because you don't have a need for him. You're on that date because you want him, if that's what it turns out to be. But you're definitely you're not on that date because you need him, right? So keep in mind, the goal is to come across confident without being needy. So you want to be open. You want to, you want to smile, you want to engage, right? And you don't want to talk about the things that you don't like. You don't want to bring in all the extra stuff. The goal of the date is to really keep things light and keep things easy while enjoying yourself, right? Because a date is not time to spill all the beans on stuff that's not going right. It's a time to just go out and have a good time, right? So also stay away from, like I was mentioning, emotional baggage. So again, back to not dumping your stuff on someone else. Even if a man asks you, what about your ex? Don't fall for it. Don't get into the complaining and the this and the that. Oh, it didn't work out because of, we had issues and, unfortunately, probably a really nice guy, but it didn't work out for him. Go into, well, he's this and well, he's that. And, he was really rotten to me. Not a good look, because it tells that you're a complainer. And I mean, while you won't hear men outright just say this, but think about it, ladies. If you're on a date with a guy and he's talking and talking and talking about his ex and she did this and she did that and she was wrong for this, what do you think is going to happen when he's dating you and things don't work out? Do you think he's going to grant you a pass in not saying the same things? He's definitely going to do the same, because now most of us are creature of habit. So it's natural that if he talks about his ex and he says he loved her at one point, or he was married to her, or whatever, a serious long-term relationship, whatever, chances are he's going to be doing the same thing with you. Why would it be any different? See, people have a tendency to think that they're special. But if he just met you, you're not special. How can you be special? He knows nothing about you. He doesn't actually owe you the special tag at that point, right? So you're not special enough for him not to say the same things about you. And after once he comes to know you, then I guess you'll see. But you want the guy who is not talking about his ex to that degree, and you don't want to be that person, right? Because again, it just says a lot about you. Don't think that people don't see these things. Clearly, men are making note of this if they're giving me this information. And I've heard my husband say the same sorts of things. I've been with this man 13 years, and to be honest, I don't know when I've heard him say anything bad about an ex. He won't mention her or mention exes unless I bring them up. But he just doesn't talk about them. I think he had maybe one serious woman before me. He had never lived with anyone before me. So he really just didn't talk about what other people did. It just wasn't his thing. It was not, as far as I'm concerned anyway, his exes are none of my business. And I'm glad that I didn't pry deeply into that, because that's them. I'm here. He never stayed with any of them more than, I don't even think he lasted with anybody more than a year, or even up to a year. So there was no need for me to go digging. Yes, I understand history does tell something, but the fact that he hadn't dated anyone for even a year, while it was scary to me at first, I just got a different sense of him, that maybe that just didn't happen for him up until that point. And he was still very young when I met him anyway, or at least that's my excuse, right? But anyway, also, so I want to talk about number 3. having a sense of humor, right? So when you're going out on these dates, you want to relax and don't be too serious. Take things easy. You know, he tells a little joke, you can laugh a little. You don't have to be like all out of this world, fake it, right? But you want to relax a little. Let him know that you know you're entertained by what he's doing. Again, if you are, if you're not, and you have no interest in him, there's no need to fake it, no need to pretend. It really isn't necessary. You know, you want to go ahead and you want to move on, right? But if you have some interest in this person, or at least if you're wanting to see if it can go somewhere, you know what? Just don't be too serious. Relax. Just take it easy, right? You know, a man loves a woman who is lighthearted. A man loves a woman who is easy, right? They're drawn to that kind of energy. It says that you're chill, you know, you're relaxed. And that's an attractive quality, even for a woman with a man. She wants to know that he's easygoing. I like a quiet type of man. I like a strong man, but I like a man who's quiet too. So my husband, he was kind of difficult to read because, you know, I saw him as strong, but then I realized that a lot of people saw him as quiet. But I know when he's with me, he talks up a storm. So I was kind of a little bit perplexed on that. But either way, you want somebody who's easy. And one thing he often says to me is just lighten up, right? Don't take things so seriously. So something about me is I have a tendency to be a little bit more, I guess, more strong in my stance. But, you know, a man likes a woman who's light and easy. It makes, you know, to be around her and to navigate her is so much easier when she's like that. So I've learned to do that more so, but those are things that they like. And again, you don't have to be everything to everyone, but if they can see that, you know, that you're not this tough person to deal with, then, you know, they'll be more open to having things moving forward. And keep in mind, again, it's the same sorts of things that you want from a man. You don't want somebody who has just no sense of humor. There's just nothing to them. They're very rigid. That's going to become very difficult to live with in good time, right? So again, you want to be fun and easy for them, but you also want them to be that for you as well. So, you know, also be interested in him or what he does, right? So again, the objective here is not to pretend, but if you're getting to know someone, to kind of roll your eyes and kind of stare off in the distance like you don't even realize that they're there, or pay attention to your phone, as opposed to engaging and having some interest. Ask questions about, you know, maybe his life or what he does. Again, you're not interested, then it's going to not serve any purpose. But while you're there, it's nice. You know, you never know, this person can be your friend. So again, it's not a fake it till you make it scenario, but it's I can be nice while I'm on this date, and who knows, maybe in a while he'll make you laugh, or you'll make him laugh, and things will lighten up, and you guys will maybe want to know more about each other. But you just got to keep in mind, how would you want to be treated in that scenario? You don't want someone to fake, but you want someone to engage. That's what a date is for, to get to know the other person, right? So show curiosity, ask questions, and, you know, don't show a lack of interest. Make sure that you're showing that you have some interest in them being there, right? And your time with them. So, you know, tip number 5, don't come across difficult to please. And I know that on a date, I don't think I've ever been that. Maybe somebody else who I've dated would say different. But you don't want to. You want to be, again, it's part of the easygoing. If you're too rigid and you complain a lot, and then you express these extremely high standards. Of course, you are who you are, but you want to come across not difficult, right? As you wouldn't want a man to be difficult with you if you're out and everything he complains about, and oh my God, I don't know why that guy's doing this, and I don't know why those people are doing that, and eventually it's kind of like, oh my God, this is so annoying. All you're gonna do is watch for the clock, for the time to pass, and then you're leaving, and then that is it. You're not gonna stay around, and if you do, then what are you saying? That, you can watch a person for a while. One date is not the tell all, but it starts to tell you something. Go on date number 2, go on date number 3, see how it goes. If you feel that you connect with this person, but if things are not going the way you want, pretty soon they call you up, you're just gonna be like, you know what, not interested, or you're just gonna avoid their call. And it's the same thing that a man would do. So you know what, you want to come across, again, relaxed and easy. So the undertone here is really just relaxed and easy, because being free-spirited is ultimately how you attract people. It's what's going to get them to want to more connect with you on a level, right? Anyway, also you want to avoid judgmental type behavior. So you don't want to act like you're superior, that you're better than anybody. Nobody's better than anybody. And I think that doesn't really even need to be said. But sometimes, in the collecting of information and everything, it's like, as much as it's evident, we don't naturally just think these things. I don't think, some people say all kinds of things on a date, don't even realize what's coming out of their mouth. They're saying things, and really you're possibly putting down another person, and we can't worry about the rest of the world. But when you're on a date, again, be at your best. If you're an easygoing person, certain things would never come out of your mouth. The only things you're going to say are what's best or what's positive to say. But otherwise than that, you're not going to be saying things that don't serve or that are mean or downgrading to the other person. So you just definitely want to watch the things you say. You want to avoid power type games. So I was watching an episode of a show, and they sent a couple out on a date. So this girl and this guy, and so while she was out with him, they went bowling, and she's just like, oh, I know I'm gonna beat you, and this and that, and then he's playing, and then she's like, okay, watch this, gutter ball, and then he ended up beating her. So she was not happy about that. She's like, oh, you just caught me this time, but next time you're not. And then they ended up playing, I think, I don't know if it wasn't air hockey, it was another game, and she kept on going. She goes, I'm going to beat you this time, and she ended up winning. But what's the power play here? What's the reason for you can't lose, or you can't just have fun? Don't think about it as winning or losing. It's just about simply having fun while you're out there. You don't want to come across like you got to have it all the time, and in that moment, that's not attractive. You just want to be easy, be laid back, be relaxed. That's the kind of vibe you want to demonstrate to someone. And also, isn't that what you want from them? Again, we're going back to saying you don't want somebody who's rigid and hard to deal with. If you're on a date with a man and everything is a power this, and I'm going to win this, and I'm not going to let you win, and you're a woman and that's not going to work, and as a man I have to do this. Really, how long are you going to stay on that date before you decide to get up, get in your car, and go about your business, right? So you got to think to yourself, you're just treating somebody how you want to be treated, not because you're a woman that it should make a difference. We're all human. So at the end of the day, it's treating people how you want to be treated, right? So just now I'm going to go to point number 7, right? Being boring. And I know some people may, argue this point, about being, some people think, is that just a person's nature? And if it's just a person's nature, I wouldn't say it's just a person's nature. And the reason why is because at the end of the day, right, the person who is not even full of life will get excited about something. They may see something on TV that captures their eye, or they have a sport that they love to play, or maybe like a baby cousin, or a relative that they love to see, or something that lights up their spirit. So when you're out on that date, you want to keep in mind that you don't want to be boring. You want to come with some life. You want to be alive, right? Because when you're on that date with that person, you don't want to seem like they've drained every bit of energy out of you, that being there with them is killing you, right? You don't want to do that. You want to come across, like you're engaged, and that you're happy to be there, at least for the time you're there, whether it be that half an hour, an hour. You want to come across like you are good to be there. Again, being light, free-spirited, easy, right? They're asking you questions, avoid these one-line answers. If they say, so when was the last time, or where did you go on vacation last? And you say, oh, I went to Miami. That's it. They know by your response that you're not interested. You want to tell a little bit more, be able to tell a story. I went to Miami. We had a great hotel room. After I dropped my bags and I got there, I couldn't wait to go back outside and get on the beach and, have those great drinks or something. You want to do something that's a little bit more engaging, right? To draw a person's attention. Again, you don't want to be who you are not, but you want to be a little bit more engaging. A lot of people are sending their representatives on date, and I guess to some degree, this could be seen as that, but really it's developing your dating skills to be better, to get more success in dating. That's what this really is about. What is it that I want to bring to the table? How do I want to be more of what a man would want, and that a man will want to continue to know or be with? It's not just one date, just one moment. It's developing who you are as a person. If you're going to be out there dating a bit, you may as well become really skilled at it, honestly, because that's what's going to ultimately help you to get closer to who you're looking for. And again, keep in mind that you want the same thing. Do you really want a guy who's boring? Listen, a man can be quiet, doesn't mean that he's boring. So there's quiet, then there's boring. Sometimes quiet and boring can get mixed up. I was never, I used to date very quiet men, and as much as Bobby seems quiet, but again, not to me, but my ex was quiet. But I was very drawn to that in a way. There was something about the silent type that I liked, but believe me, it didn't last long because as much as we were together for so many years, he actually was boring. We didn't do anything. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't, other than family stuff that we had to do, he was really boring. I would never make that mistake again. But yeah, so I've learned through some of my own experiences that these are not the things that, these are types of things that you want to look for because you don't want to live like this. Living like this is no fun. So you want to pay attention to these. And like I said, a man is looking at you, but you're also looking at him. You know, dating smart is a two-way street. It's not these expectations that he should only have of you, but that you should look for in him. What do you expect from him? You know, men don't just care about looks. And while a lot of women, or a lot of us believe that that's all they care about, I have learned, you know, living with this man for all these years, that it is far from that. And while, you know, of course, men want a woman who looks good. So don't get me wrong, your looks are very important, but it is not the end all and be all. You also want to carry other characteristics. Because I see many women out there who are beautiful women, but end up by themselves. Why? Because there's other things about them that's not working. And a lot of people talk about it as though it's, oh, well, they chose not to be in the relationship, but there's women I know who they're beautiful and men have dumped them because there's more to her, or that he's looking for than that. And men who were amazing. I mean, before I met my husband, I met a guy who was incredibly sexy. But oh my gosh, boring like you wouldn't believe. I sat on the phone with him a couple of times and decided that I was not willing to torture myself like this anymore. You can be as hot as heck. I can't do this. Right? It's just not worth it. So you want somebody who has a little bit of, you know, kind of oomph to their life, a little bit of gumption, you know, they show more of who they are and to show that they do have life, because they do. And maybe it's just on that date that they're behaving like that, or maybe they just don't like you, right? But those things are not things that you can tell right away. Sometimes it's a matter of going out with them maybe more than once, if you can tolerate it. I just know that guy, as sexy as he was, it's just, I couldn't, you know, it was killing me. I need to know that I'm able to have back and forth conversation with someone, be able to engage with them, you know? So, you know, I just want you to keep these tips in mind. You know, so if you don't seem like you can get excited about life, that's probably not going to work in your favor. Even if they continue to date you, I don't know how long it'll last. Some people are going to 3 months and that's it. And I don't know why 3 months for some people is a cutoff, you know, but sometimes, you know, people hang in there. You know, you hear Steve Harvey again, always talk about that 90 days because he can fake it for a while. And then after that, it's not going to work. So when I hear people say, oh, you know, it's been 3 months and then he left. Yeah, he just couldn't take it anymore. He hung in there, he tried, or whatever he came for, he got, and now he's out. So, and some of them will go longer than that, don't get me wrong, but start to pay attention around that time, and then just see how things go a little bit past. That's going to be very telling for you, right? Timelines are not to say people just have timelines sitting there, but again, people can't fake it for too long. So eventually you start to see the breakdown. If you don't see them a lot, it's harder to see. When you're around them more, you'll start to see, but just watch for the timeline and watch the behavior, because I promise you're going to start to see things change. So one of the bonus tips I want to leave you with, so that's going to be tip number 8, is your appearance. Your appearance is obviously important, and I think this is one of the most obvious ones, right? But some people don't seem to get it right. When you're going on a date, you want to look together. Again, don't step outside of who you are. Be true to who you are, but at the same time, you want to look appropriate when going on a date. This is that you care about yourself enough to put yourself together, right? That's huge, right? Just do the hair, put on a little bit of makeup, you know, I mean, some lipstick, some eyeliner, do the hair. Make sure it looks proper, right? Make sure it looks decent. You want to be presentable, and that is not just about that person, that's about you. You want to carry yourself in a way that's, you know, that says to society and the world that I got this, that I take care of myself, right? And again, this is not every day all the time, but generally you run into the grocery store, you don't have to look perfect, but you never know who you can meet when you go out there. So again, when I met my husband, I was heading to the park to to watch my kids play. And well, to be honest, I didn't look all that hot, but I still was together. Didn't have on any makeup, had on an oversized sweater. I believe my hair was done. Anyway, but we met. He didn't approach me that day. We met and said hello. And anyway, ran into him a few more times. I was more dressed and more put together then. And got to know him, right? But you want to carry yourself well. It doesn't matter what. You always want to make sure that you're presenting your best self. Like when you're dating, you're shopping for the ideal man, right? So you want to make sure that you look good. You want to make sure that you're together because you're your product in that moment. You are selling you, and you want to look good, right? When I met my husband, I was more overweight, like he tells me, but I'm thinking I didn't see that. I thought I had lost a good amount of weight at that point. I was still on my weight loss journey, but he said, no, you were a lot bigger. So I'm now, flattered that, he still was willing to date me. And honestly, we always say that, weight shouldn't matter and all of that. And I'm glad that he saw past that. And now that I'm in a different place, I mean, of course he's happier, but you just always want to make sure that you're put together, that you're looking good, that you're, the best you can be, because you never know when you can meet that person. And it doesn't mean, again, that you have to go out with all this makeup on and, have everything done all the time and be all dressed and poised at all time, but at least, look presentable. Because like I said, it could happen at the grocery store. For me, it was in my backyard. I would have never thought. It could be while crossing to the convenience store, or, I don't know, it could be anywhere. So don't assume that I'll probably not meet anyone, and then you run into people and you're like, oh my God, I look like crap. And I would love to talk to that guy, but I look like crap. I don't even want him to even look at me right now, right? So just always remember and make sure that you're always somewhat presentable and put yourself together. So anyway, like I said, just remember that you're looking for these qualities and tips or these things in that gentleman too. It is definitely not a one-way street. And if you meet a man who's not confident, right, and who has too much emotional baggage and is boring, has no sense of humor, doesn't show any form of interest, he's difficult to please, too judgmental, he's boring, and he doesn't take care of himself, he doesn't care about how he looks, he's not put together, he's probably not the guy that you want to date. You want to date someone who cares about himself and the image that he's putting out there to the world, not because of the world, but because of how he feels about himself. So I highly urge you to look at these things when you're going out dating, not only for what he's doing, but look at them for yourself, because he's looking at these components of you. Again, not every single point all the time, 24/7, maybe people are going to pay attention to, but cumulatively, they're going to start to notice things. So even if you have a lot of great things about you, but maybe you're missing the mark on one thing, not the end of the world. Nobody's perfect. There's not everything has to apply to everyone all the time. But these are things to keep in mind to move you forward when you're dating, because like I said, at the end of the day, you're your product and you want to be able to demonstrate that to the world. So as you're out there, it is about putting out who you are, and you want to be the best you can be to find the love of your life. Let's face it, that everybody wants a great partner. And if you're not demonstrating that, then, I mean, maybe that's why you have no luck. It doesn't mean that you're not a great person, but whatever is in the inside, you want to demonstrate on the outside as well, so that they can see what they could potentially be missing. But if you're not exciting when you're on a date, you're not doing anything great, you're not showing aspects of who you are, you're not engaging while you're there, you're not in tune, you're being, not so nice, you're kind of on your phone, or you're not paying attention to who you're there with, then you have to understand all those things are parts of the things that come into play. So ladies, I just want to leave you with that. So moving forward, if there's anything that I can help you with on, dating more effectively or making better choices, or why is he leaving after 3 months, or why are they going out with me on one date and then I'm not seeing them again, I would love to chat to you about that, because there are some things that clearly you could be doing different. My link is in is on this, is above. And feel free to book a time with me. Let's chat. Let's figure out what's going on with you, and let's see how we could move you forward to have the love you want. Because, you know, I truly believe that there's someone out there for everyone, and that nobody should live this life alone. Like I said, 5 years of my life by myself, and those daunting nights, you know, is not something that I choose to relive. Absolutely not. And I don't wish it on anyone. A lot of us say we're good, but the truth of the matter is, are you really? I mean, ask yourself, are you really? I was very lonely, and I didn't want to live like that anymore. And so for me, it was about making a very conscious and powerful decision that this will no longer be my life. All right, ladies. So anyway, I hope to see you again soon. Feel free to book a call with me whenever you're ready. Yeah, let's make things happen, because it's there's no point in wasting more time. You deserve to have love in your life. All right, ladies. So I'll see you again another time, and have yourself a fabulous evening. All right. Bye for now.